You kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds. And when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me.
Hello race fans and welcome to the XMS Elite Xfinity Series here for the round of 4, race number 1 of the championship round. 4 drivers, 2 races, 1 championship. Looking to get some short track racing going tonight as we watch Alan Dobbs, Justin Opplinger, Alan Fox, and Bryce Senesac all fight for a championship. So best points out of the next 2 races will claim the championship. As we sit right now, 3,011 for Alan Dobbs, 3,009 for Justin Opplinger, 3,003 for Alan Fox, and 3,002 points for Bryce Senesac. I'm your host, Jordan Brockell, joined in the booth by a newcomer here for the XMS Elite Series, is Troy Thomas. How you doing, Troy?
Good. How are you doing tonight, sir?
Doing wonderful. So to catch you up on the the happenings in this league, we have a great group of guys here. Everyone runs great. Everyone runs tough. Runs very clean. And I'll tell you now, the 4 guys that are in the championship 4 deserve to be there. Just like the guys in the top 8 deserve to be there. This whole playoff run has been amazing, and I mean it's close battles and crazy races, and you know it's really been a pleasure to be here. And I mean this is anybody's game basically. I mean it's going to be a close championship.
Yeah, that's what you want in these kind of races like that. You don't want to see somebody just run away with it. You want these close battles that keep you on your edge of your seat during the races. So, I'm looking forward to tonight's race.
Yeah, and they went from a little bit larger track last week. We were in Kentucky. It's not a majorly large track, but a little bit larger. Um, Down to a track like Iowa. A little bit smaller, a little bit tougher, and you're gonna have to change up your driving style and everything of that sorts. And it's gonna be interesting to see how these guys can adapt and how quickly they can adapt.
Oh, absolutely. Iowa reminds me kind of Rockingham in a way. Not as banked as Rockingham, but going into turn one, you got them bumps you got to stay clear of. So hopefully, it won't cause too much chaos tonight when drivers race over the bumps.
One of my favorite things, and I can't remember who said it, but they called it an elongated Richmond. So it's like Richmond, just the corners seem a little bit wider, a little bit longer, and I kind of like that. I mean, it's not necessarily 100% on that, but I mean, it's what makes the most sense. And the biggest tricky part for this track, in my opinion, is getting on pit road. I was telling everybody last week, my shortcomings to this track was leading the race in a next gen race, go to turn on the pit road for the first pit stop, did not realize that the turn is as sharp as it is to get down pit road, and I Matt Kenseth the barrels.
Yeah, this entrant comes up on you quick if you're not paying attention. I mean, if you just daydreaming for a little bit trying to get on pit road, your race is ruined basically. Like you said, you hit the barrels and you Matt Kenseth it.
Exactly. So, I look for these guys to have a good, strong run, and I'm really excited for this. And Justin Opplinger, I lean a little bit more towards, and I know if anything happens to him, his father might come through the YouTube comments and smack me around a little bit. But Justin Opplinger definitely sees like he's the one to beat. But I'll tell you what, Alan Dobbs is always right there too, and Bryce Senesac always finds his way to be kind of sniffing the back of that pack, and Alan Fox, no slouch either.
Oh yeah, look, seems like these four playoff drivers we got right now always seem to run close to each other. So I remember with the Atlanta race they was close to each other, and the Kentucky race they was close with each other. So I don't expect nothing less than that tonight.
And nothing less indeed. And I can't help but think of how it's one of the cooler races too. We're not sitting in 130 degree temps or 110 degree temps. We're down to what was it, 86 degree track temps. So that's going to be a really cool surface for these guys to run on tonight, and there's going to be a ton of grip. And then once they get the rubber down, it's going to have even more grip. So I'm looking really forward to this.
Oh yeah, me too. This place you just got multiple grooves, so that's what makes it interesting. Your car might be fast on the bottom, but once that bottom starts rubbering up, you're going to go to the high side, and your car might be a couple hundreds quicker. So who knows how this is going to go?
Exactly. So now we're starting to grid up here. We're going to go ahead and start going through the order here. Alan Dobbs, our playoff driver, is going to claim the pole here, followed by Ed Morris Jr. Bryce Senesac, the next playoff driver, sitting in third, followed by Daniel Krim. Justin Opplinger comes in fifth, and sixth will be Joshua Vidal. Alan Fox will run off seventh. Nicholas Weatherby eighth. AJ Brandenburg ninth. Mike Campeggio coming 10th. Jason Cardwell, Michael Self 11th and 12th. And then 13th, 14th will be Jacob Jensen, Joe Darnell. Followed by Taylor Bertram, Todd Keir. And rounding out the field, and certainly not least, Edward Morris Sr. So it's kind of an interesting start here. You see the inside line, 1, 2, 3, 4 down the inside line is all our playoff drivers.
Seems like they found each other, Well, what's unique about this series, not only is your playoff drivers racing with each other, you've got other non-playoff drivers racing against each other, so it should be fun.
Absolutely, and I think that's what makes playoff racing so much fun is you don't have, it's not like a a ball and stick sport. You know, you have to manage around people who aren't necessarily running for a championship. So, you know, you got to kind of look out for that, and it makes it probably one of the most difficult things to manage, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, because if you're not one of these non-playoff drivers, you don't want to make a mistake in front of the playoff drivers and potentially knock them out of their chance to win a championship. So you got to race them a little bit differently.
Exactly, and a man that's looking to hopefully get a championship. We're going to bring him up now. Alan Dobbs, it's Jordan and Troy up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, look, you're rolling off P1, start of the first race of the playoffs. You know, how's it going? You know, how's it feeling right now?
Yeah, honestly, when it comes to Iowa, I usually don't have a hard time starting well. It's finishing well that I have a problem with. So, we're just gonna try to hang on to it tonight and not get ourselves put back into the pack and get into trouble. And you know, it's not a winner-take-all situation for this championship format, so I need to be smart and think about points throughout the next two races and not push so hard that I end up hurting myself.
All right, brother. Well, we'll get you out of here. We'll get you set up and ready to run. We'll wish you luck and good racing, brother.
All right, appreciate it.
Alan Dobbs certainly sounding like he's got a plan. Run easy, but fierce. You know, points hunt. You know, and that's a big thing. You know, with it being 2 weeks and not a winner take all, you can't just go out, win this race, and ultimately be the champion. You know, you're gonna have to be able to balance that over the next 2 weeks, and you know it's gonna be fun. It's different. You know, you could win the first race and then completely wreck yourself out the next, and you're not the champion.
Yeah, this kind of reminds me of the old Winston Cup style racing. You know, back then you didn't have stages or nothing. You just did your points racing. So, I mean, Dale Earnhardt won a lot of races. I mean, a lot of championships where he only win like 2 or 3 races because he's the most consistent driver. So these playoff drivers need to be the most consistent driver these next 2 weeks.
Yeah, and the one thing that I do love is the pace car takes a hard left turn. Alan Dobbs will lead him to the line, shot out of a cannon, and we're green flag racing here at Iowa. They fan out already. Justin Oplinger looking to the inside of Bryce Senesac, looking all ready to jump on that spot. And just before that action started there, I do want to say we will have one single stage caution at lap 70. So those drivers going to be fighting for that 10 points to take into the next race next week. And 10 points, that's a lot of points to try and grab here.
Oh yeah, that's huge right out of the gate. 10 points. That's a big gap. So whoever get that's gonna be very lucky.
Yeah, you see Oplinger way up on the outside right now. Alan Fox looking to fall in line there, and Oplinger really pressuring Bryce Senesac right now.
Close battling here right now as we go along early in this race. It just makes you wonder how hard these cars are going to be these drivers will be pushing it to get that important track position.
Absolutely, and you see here already side-by-side racing between our 4 playoff drivers sitting right here in the top 3 wide at a small track like Iowa is insane. Oh, yeah, Bryce Senesac doors the 38.
You can't make mistakes, can you?
No, not even a little bit here. That was almost a disaster there for a moment with Senesac kind of just barely drifting up and meeting Alan Dobbs there.
Yeah, Dobbs is just a couple car lengths behind our race leader Oplinger right now. Senesac is there in 3rd.
Yeah, and Oplinger's number 1 fan, Dale Oplinger, says a great point. Drive smart and take your time. And that's going to be a big thing, is taking your time.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you got to pace. You don't want to wear your tires out right now, that's for sure. Because you're going to need them later in the run, so we'll just see how hard these drivers push it.
Yeah, and they're certainly going to try and push it as tough as they can. And it's going to be interesting to see just what they do. I know these guys are very big on having some kind of different strategy than each other and really working to find what's best for them.
Yeah, I mean, if you're one of these non-playoff drivers, you want to you want to spoil the party by not doing what the leaders do. So you kind of want to go against the grain, so to speak, and do something completely different. And try to get that win tonight.
Yeah, and like I said, Opplinger is going to be tough to beat. I mean, he knows he's got such an amazing racecraft. He knows how to pace himself. He knows when and when to not, charge. But Alan Dobbs is always right there with him.
He's just a tenth behind the leader right now. But if your car's running too good tonight, you're not going to see these drivers sawing on the wheel of the car going to the corners. But if your car's not handling correct, you're going to be in for a long evening.
Yeah, and it's comes back to that same thing with the having the other 14 or 15 or so drivers. I can't do quick math. 14 drivers, 13 drivers. My apologies. Once they get some get up and go, they're gonna eventually hit lap traffic, and they're gonna have to navigate that, and that's gonna be a big key here. Using other drivers as a pick, or having some sort of setup that you can use those to your advantage, and maybe not try to catch them in a bad spot. As you see Alan Dobbs looking to the inside of Justin Opplinger.
He's just putting that nose down there to let him know he's back here behind and following him around. So all it takes is one mistake by Justin, and then Alan will just make the pass for the lead. As we got a race for third place right now.
You see right here the lines that everybody is taking kind of differently. You see Senesac way out wide trying to carry that momentum, and then you see Opplinger and Dobbs kind of running very similar lines. They're not, I say that they run completely different lines this time around, but that turn one they were right in each other's tire tracks and really running those same lines. But there's almost 3 to 4, maybe even 5 separate groups here. You've got the low line, and then you got kind of in between the low and middle, and all the way up to the wall. And that's what makes Iowa fun is the versatility in different lines to run.
Oh, absolutely. You've got the bumps in the bottom of turn one. If I remember correctly, you've got bumps at the top of the turn as well. So if you can find your happy medium right there, just in the middle of the corner, you can get a good runoff and try to make a pass for the lead. But Alan Dobbs keeps trying to pass Justin Opplinger for first place, but hasn't accomplished it yet.
Yeah, and I think that's what we're going to see all night long.
It's just so hard to pass sometimes. It's easy catching somebody, but we've heard it before. It's easy to catch them. It's hard to pass them.
Say it once, and I'll say it again. It is difficult to pass. It's easy to catch. It's hard to pass.
And again, he's putting that nose inside going to turn 3.
And for Dobbs, something like that right there, where he pushed that nose forward, he's got to burn that right front just a bit more.
Ooh, they almost touched.
Opplinger with the crossover and literally using every inch that he possibly could into that corner and exit.
He was doing the old 8 wheels are better than 4 wheels corner.
And certainly, I mean, once the elbows come out here, as you see now, he does the slide job and Dobbs does the crossover.
Oh, this is great racing early on this race. Is pinching him down coming to turn 1. Allen has cleared him, but right on the bumper of that 38 car is Justin Opplinger.
Yeah, and Senesac and Alan Fox, I mean, for them right now, they're just kind of watching. There's not a ton that they can do right now with these guys.
No, it's just they're wishing they might make contact and get a little loose, and they can pass them both.
Exactly, and later on in this race, that's what I expect to see is some kind of elbows out kind of moment, because I mean these guys are racing for a championship, and it brings along the bragging rights and the pride, and just being able to say I'm a champion, and that's a big deal to a lot of us.
Oh yeah, I mean that's what a lot of us racers do. To when we join a racing league or something, we want to race for that champion, be the champion. Like I said, our chest will get a little bit bigger if we win that championship. So these guys are they're gonna be racing each other very hard these next couple of weeks.
Yeah, and it kind of looks like Oplinger maybe have taken a little bit of a different idea, maybe backing off just a touch, trying to save some stuff here. It's not usually like him to just kind of back off that quickly. Usually he's right up on somebody, and I think he's kind of taking a different route here. He's backing off, saving his stuff, and that's what I was talking about. Is he's such a masterful racer. He realizes he wasn't able to keep the pace that Dobbs was and save at the same time.
Yeah, he just looks like he's searching around to see where his cars can work better than on the bottom of the racetrack. But as soon as I say that, he goes to the bottom of the racetrack. But like you said earlier, the beauty of this track, you can so many different lines you can run that make your car fast. So maybe he's just searching for that little something extra here.
Yeah, and something really big about these top two guys right now, they're very big note takers, in my opinion. They may not actually do it physically or mentally. They may just kind of have that racing sense that I have yet to find. I can't even buy it on Amazon, so I can't get it. But they kind of know their limits and what they need to do, and they stack the notes and figure out every point of this track where they need to put their car, what works best for them. Is it better on the bottom in the long run, or is it better on the top in the long run? XYZ, they're very good note takers.
Oh yeah, I mean we all, unlike you, I haven't bought it off of Amazon yet, but and we say that Alan Dobbs is out to about almost a half-second lead on Justin Oplinger, with Alan Fox running that peeking inside of him again. But you wonder right now if he's just letting them take it to save his car for the long run, like you said earlier, which he might be doing that. But
yeah, and time will tell. I honestly have no idea what to expect from these guys. Just they always seem to pull something out of the hat. Any point in time in this race.
Oh yeah, now it looks like they're cutting in the lead just a little bit right there. Coming side by side off turn 2. Just cannot. It's so hard to pass on the inside almost any track we go to anymore.
Yeah, and I mean you really have to drive it, and you gotta basically race it on the edge of the cushion and basically throw all caution to the wind.
Yeah, it's going to come to a point where they're just going to have to send it down in there and hope it sticks later on in the race. But Alan Fox is sure trying his hardest right now to make that pass.
You see there, Bryce Senesac way down to the bottom. Alan Fox just a lane below and looking just a touch, might get there.
Each one of these top 3 drivers are running completely different lines, so that shows you the beauty about this race right here. Is the 09 of Bryce Senesac is trying to join this fight.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying at the top of the show too, is Senesac is always there too, and that's what makes this so great. I mean, this is showing you right here that with this scenario and the way these guys do their playoffs, it all funnels down to exactly who should be in the playoffs. And Jacob Jensen, Joshua Vidal, the guys that just missed out last round, more than deserving of being in this. It just shows that Alan Dobbs, Oplinger, Fox, Senesac all have just a marginally better season.
Oh yeah, and here they are running 1, 2, 3, and 4. I mean, what more could you ask for as a league? Your top 4 drivers in the playoffs battling for the lead early in the race. Senesac looked down the inside of Fox there and coming out 4. Business is picking up early right now too.
Yeah, and something I just read for through our comments, Scott Ramler, who will be racing tomorrow night for a championship, Said notes taking 101. Look at the driver in front of you, and see what he's showing you. And I mean, he's exactly right. You know,
Yep.
if you know, you can kind of see that left rear quarter. You know, he's a little bit loose. If he's plowing, you know, he's you know, his nose will point, you know, low on entry and everything, and he'll drift. And you know, that's also what makes Scott Rambler such an amazing racer as well. I mean, one of the greatest road racers that I've seen, definitely. And you know, he knows how to put it together on an oval as well. And had a little bit of an unlucky season, got caught up in some crazy stuff. And you know, I mean, there's probably about 3 or 4 different races that he should have won this year, and it took him all the way until Coda, which I think that was about mid-season. I don't even think it was actually mid-season, but a lot longer than I expected for him to get a win.
Sometimes luck's gotta be on your side to win some of these races. You know, let's look at Kyle Busch in the Cup Series this year. He has no luck whatsoever.
Yeah, and honestly, I wish you could have seen that Coda race, because luck was not the thing. It was pure skill. As Opplinger slides in behind Dobbs just slightly. Rambler had like a 40-some second lead and finished 40 seconds ahead of the second place racer backwards. Purposefully backwards.
when it comes together good for a racer, there's no better feeling in the world when your car just everything works right and you can just build yourself a big lead. It's just the best feeling as a racer.
Opplinger was all over the rear bumper heading into that turn.
Man, we have a fight on our hands right now.
And the thing is, we're just now halfway through the stage. Not even the race, just the stage. And it just shows you how hungry these guys are.
Like.
Exactly.
The end of the race. As he peeking inside again into turn 1.
Well, because right now, you know, these guys, as it gets a crossover by Alan Dobbs, you know, finishing first, you know, that's 1 extra point. Then, you know, if it all stays the same, you know, you're 1 point ahead of the guy behind you, and then 2 points ahead, and then so on, so on. So, and that adds up. You know, 2 points could end up being, you know, the championship. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely, it could. You got to get every point you can get right now. Obviously, as these top 2 drivers, they want that point tonight.
And I mean, realistically speaking, I feel like NASCAR needs to take a look at this and realize, you know, maybe they should add a couple races for a round of 4.
Yeah, there's other ways they could do it, but I think they need some kind of change.
Take a little.
Just cannot make the pass.
Yeah, no, I mean they're racing tough. Check a little bit back. Oh, it's like Opplinger's coming down. See quite a handful. Jacob Jensen and Jason Cardwell coming down as well. I guess maybe trying to run that, you know, run this halfway and then try to split or run long in the stage, not have to take any kind of pit stop here at the stage end.
That's what it appears like they're doing here, so we'll see how this plays out for them.
And like I said, these guys are strategy wizards, and you know, I mean, you can't call it a winning strategy until the winning and, you know, the race is over, but
it's just like we've heard it before, it's just a big game of chess, really, when you're racing.
yeah, and Rambler in the comments saying he only had 4 races where he finished outside the top 10. And, I mean, that's not wrong. I mean, it's a solid season, but it's for him. I mean, like I said, he should have had, like, 3 or so wins. And, you know, I think one race he got screwed with a late caution. And then one, I think he got a penalty and got put in the back, and just stupid things that happened to him, you know, that might have not even really been his doing. And, you know, and that's just for the Xfinity series. He ended up, you know, having to back out of the Xfinity series, but altogether, I mean, he's a solid racer, and I look for him to be really strong tomorrow night.
Zach is our race leader at the moment, followed by Alan Dobbs, who is still yet to pit. What kind of strategy they're playing right now?
Yeah, you see two of them, Opplinger and Alan Fox, both choosing to kind of come down early, as Senesac and Dobbs still running out here. Maybe run to the end of the stage. I'm not really entirely sure the fuel load for tonight.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Well, but I'm sure them four new tires feel good on them other cars that have pitted too. So.
Oh, absolutely, and I'm sure that they'll, barring any kind of incidents, they should be able to get back around and get their lap back. As you see, Opplinger coming across the start-finish now, and take a look, Senesac going down the backstretch now. So, I mean, not a large margin per.
I mean, he's almost Opplinger is almost a second quicker right now.
Exactly. So, I mean, that time's going to shrink. That time's going to shrink rather quickly.
Oh, absolutely.
Take a little peek back here. See Opplinger and then Jensen. Jensen right behind him. Jensen just had a little shortfall, and he's had such a solid season, and last week just falling short, and I mean he's been on the verge of a breakthrough all season long, and it just
he gets a little loose coming off of two there.
He's gonna probably be mad at me for talking about him now.
Yeah, that's the curse right there, bud.
But I mean, he's another one of those guys, just been right there for a win, and it just hasn't, matched up for him. And, I see him maybe pulling off one of these last two, but, definitely had a dominant season so far, and really pushed it. And I mean, without a win, was in the hunt for the top four. So he definitely is been performing very well, and just a few points short, and found himself outside of the playoffs, and it's got to be a killer.
Yeah, and that first win's always the hardest one to get. So maybe once he gets his first win, he can just start racking on a couple more wins and just come back stronger next year.
Weatherby up in the wall.
Whew. That was close.
Yeah, a little too close for comfort. Back up front, Bryce Senesac and Alan Dobbs still trucking it out here. 25 laps to go in the stage, so if these guys are going to make any kind of move towards pit, I don't think it'll be much longer, but I think these guys might take it to the end.
Yeah, if that's the case, it's going to put a lot of cars a lap down as well, unless they won't take the wave around. So that might have been his strategy from the get-go, to get as many cars a lap down as he could.
Yeah, because I mean, then if he can trap any of these guys down, it's going to throw off their plan off completely.
Oh yeah, because I'm sure some of them, Justin and them was thinking they'd be pitting with them too, but can't do what the leader does all the time if you want to try to win some of these races.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. You got to kind of put yourself off sequence, and Senesac up into the wall just a touch. But you gotta
just give him character.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Just getting his money's worth for that. And to pull off wins, you really can't just play follow the leader. And I mean, there's a chance that it works for you. For the case of Dobbs and Opplinger, if they were on the same sequence, would not doubt that the two of them would be nose to tail fighting it out for a win. But for Senesac and Alan Fox, who have not had quite just short of the speed that these guys have had, he they both need some kind of different strategy or be on the same strategy. Senesac comes down pit road now.
Comes down to, yep.
So Alan Dobbs will inherit the lead, and seeing that, you know, those three guys already pitting, I feel like that throws it to Dobbs now. He's got to make a decision. Does he come down, or does he stay out?
He got to make a decision quick, because Justin and them were right behind him to unlap themselves the old-fashioned way by passing the leader.
Yeah, and once they pass him and take off, it's going to make it harder and harder for him to stay on the lead lap if he does pit.
No, absolutely.
You know, I feel like Senesac bringing it down kind of flipped the script a little for Dobbs there.
Yeah, I really wasn't expecting that myself, to be honest with you, but... Ooh.
And see, right there, that alone, too, he could have been possibly wanting to come down there, but, you know, with Alan Fox and Opplinger all over the rear bumper of him, he's not going to be able to make it to pit road if he's trying.
No, they're going to run all over him. He tries to... We look, make it 3 wide, come off the 2.
It looks like Alan Fox was thinking about splitting them, and he still is. He dives to the inside. Gonna probably cross over just a touch.
Dennis that gets a run off the corner. Oh, and Allen falls into the line behind Sinesac here.
Yeah, and see, now these guys, they're going to be on the hunt to get as much as they can possibly get back. And, you know, ultimately see if Dobbs makes a decision to stay out or not.
He's keeping the car on track at the moment, so he's showing his hand to what he's doing right now. So we'll just have to see how this plays out.
You know, Senesac, he's on his way. You know, he's not too far behind to look to unlap himself as well.
Yeah, because he's about 8/10 quicker than Allen right now, lap time wise.
You can see Allen just a bit further ahead. Trying to find, there she is. You see Senesac just coming out of turn 4 as he's diving into turn 1.
See, Allen ran a 25:52 that lap, and Senesac ran a 24:6, so almost a second quicker.
Yeah, and a second, when you're running 24-second laps, 25-second laps, a full second, that's insane. I mean, that's a lot of time.
Yeah, it is. I mean, but he's playing his cards. He's sticking to whatever game plan he's got going on right now. So as we come up to on lap 62, and the leader crosses the line this time.
And the biggest thing is Senesac just needs to get to Dobbs, in my opinion. You know, he's got to get his lap back and not find himself a lap down, and that gives him the option that, you know, maybe he wants to get back on the same sequence, or, you know, he can choose to stay out and not have to take a wave around and be towards the back. He can kind of be up front. So you know, he's gotta hope for the best right here.
Oh, absolutely he does. But Senesac right now is behind Brandon. Well, he makes the pass on right now, so I was getting ready to say he wasn't going to be the lucky dog, but if caution comes out, he would be right now. So mind games have been played early on in this race here.
Yeah, and if you look at it right now, Dobbs staying out, you know, if all stays the way it does for the next 12 laps, Dobbs staying out, he would grab 9 points for the playoffs, as where Opplinger would grab 3, Fox would grab 4, and Senesac would grab 1. So that's huge. As Weatherby comes down, I mean, it's going to be a little bit better for these guys, but
it's still huge in the 2-race playoff.
I mean, that would put Dobbs, I'm trying to do quick math, you know, he would be at 319, 320, and Opplinger would be at, let's see, he'd get 4, so he would be, as Campeggio's coming down now, so that's going to improve that a little bit better. So it's starting to look a little bit better here for Opplinger and Senesac. Alan Fox found his way all the way back up to 4th. So quick math, you know, if it would have stayed the way it was, it would have been very very ugly for those guys.
As we're coming up on lap 67, almost to the end of the stage here. I'm actually quite impressed by this run.
Yeah, and I realized I said 12 laps, and again, my math was off. That's really bad. That's public school math for you right there.
Man, I graduated almost 26 years ago. I ain't gonna try.
Oh man, I hear you on that one.
Ed Morris is now the leader.
Yeah, and Ed Morris Jr., he's had a great season as well, just falling short of the playoffs. And you know, that being said, I wouldn't be very surprised if he'd be in this Final Four as well. You know, with how well he's been running all season. So, Alan Dobbs all over the back of him.
He's wanting that extra point.
Yeah, absolutely. Alan Dobbs, he says, well, these guys moved all the way up the board. I need to get at least that one extra.
And like you said, that one extra point could be the difference from winning the championship and losing it.
Yeah, I mean, you look back at, what year was it, 2014? Carl Edwards and Tony Stewart?
Yep. They tied, yep.
Where they tied, and the winner of the race basically was going to be the champion. And,
yep.
like, I mean, that right there shows you that it's 1 point is 1 point. Ramler says, bruh, I'm from Kentucky. You can't let me out, Matthew, or we're both in trouble. Hey, look, I'm from a place that can't even say their state right. You know what I mean? I'm from Maryland.
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 I can't even say Carolinian, so
I can't even say my state right. That's like, you know, everyone says Baltimore, and I say Baltimore. Baltimore. Sounds like I'm talking about the Harry Potter villain, Voldemort.
Oh, it does. It does, don't it?
Oh, it's so bad.
Oh, man.
So with that being said, you know, these guys are going to be making their pit stops. We're going to see how that works out, and while that's going on, we're going to go ahead and take a quick step aside, and we'll be right back for the green flag.
The search is over. The most comprehensive oval scoring solution is here. Featuring oval playoffs, adjust drivers per round, custom number of rounds, custom playoff points, provisionals, optional win and you're in, custom playoff displays, rookie championships, optional minimum participation, and load those results in seconds. Visit extremescoring.info today.
Back here at Iowa, seeing a couple guys coming down now. Alan Dobbs going out now. Alan Fox, Opplinger, Ed Morris Jr., and Jacob Jensen all on their way out of pit road as well. So it's going to be a good little bit here to watch these guys, you know, work their way through this field and, you know, really kind of pull off any kind of strategy that they can think of.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how they play this last half of the race right here. Whether they're gonna try to split it in half or go as far as they can with the race. So
yeah, and I see right here, Rambler, good old Maryland. Hey, that's the nail right on the head, man. I remember seeing, I think it's James Corbin. I can't remember. He does like the car karaoke or something like that.
Oh, yeah, I know who you're talking about.
So I remember he had somebody from Maryland on one of his shows, and he was like, "So where are you from?" And he's like, "Maryland." He was like, Maryland? Maryland? Is that how you say it? He's like, "No, I'm from Maryland." And he's like, "Maryland.
Maryland.
It's spelled like Maryland." The guy said
Oh,
Maryland, and Corbin reenacted it. He was like, Maryland. And that's it sounds like you got a mouthful of marbles. I mean, that's just how we talk.
Oh, that's good.
It's like the other one. I seen someone do a Baltimore thing where it's Aaron earned and iron earn, and if you're from any part of Maryland, you'll be like Aaron earned and iron earn.
I ain't even gonna get in a speech and talk tonight. I've got a pretty deep southern accent.
But see, the southern accent is, I think, better than the mouthful of marbles.
That is true.
So running through right here right now while we got a second, I'm going to have Alan Fox and Alan Dobbs on the front row, Opplinger and Jacob Jensen in row 2, AJ Brandenburg, Jason Cardwell. We might actually be a little mixed up here, everybody getting set in, but I know Alan Dobbs, Alan Fox, Jacob Jensen, Justin Opplinger, Ed Morris Jr., which is showing a lap down right now on our scoring, but I do not believe that for a second. So we're having a little bit of, looks like timing and scoring issues. But we do know Alan Dobbs is running off first with Alan Fox, Opplinger, and Jacob Jensen, at least in that mix.
And Dobbs has chosen the outside on for this restart.
And you know, I think that's a good one, because he can get to the corner, either carry some spots, and he's going to fire off really good. So he's going to have full access to go wherever he wants into turn 1.
What a jump by Alan Dobbs. Played that perfectly. But as we say, the Alan Fox is right on his bumper.
Yeah, and that's going to be the theme of the night. These guys are going to be all over each other. I mean, you're going to be able to throw a blanket over these guys, and Senesac's going to be there in a heartbeat, so...
Oh yeah, I'm sure these front two drivers think we got to go. Opplinger is going to be up here on us. We just need to separate ourselves from him.
Yeah, and this is where we're going to start getting to. The gloves are going to slowly come off. You know, these guys are going to start taking up as much room as they possibly can, and not necessarily giving any kind of real room.
No, there's going to be more taken now than there was given, that's for sure, as we close out the end of the race here.
Yeah, and we'll take a peek back here at Senesac, who's taking it almost 3 wide there going into turn 1.
Yeah, he's right on the bottom right there.
You know, and he's going to be flying like a bat out of you-know-where.
Oh, yeah. Yes, sir, he is.
He said, I got to go. Time is now, and I ain't got the time to waste.
No, because he's almost over 4 seconds behind the leader at the moment.
Yeah, instead of a day late and a dollar short, you know, he's a day ahead, and he's got plenty of dollars. So he's gonna head north and hope that he can get up to these guys and start giving them some issues.
Yeah, he's got to hope his car can catch him up pretty quick, because he's sitting right here in 6th while the other playoff drivers are sitting 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, and right now, Justin Opplinger is under fire by Jacob Jensen. So again, in my opinion, he's playing the long game. He's going to save his stuff, and Oplinger's one of those guys that he can save and still be fast. I don't
can't do
understand it. I can't do it at all either, and it's
No,
just like
I can save and be slow, but I can fast and burn everything up. I can't. There's no happy medium.
I somehow burn stuff up when I am slow. So
There's no medium right there when I try to do it.
so I'm, these guys are smart. So Dobbs getting past right now, side by side with Alan Fox.
Fox makes the pass. Alan Doblitz on the inside of the cone, entering 3 here. We have a new race leader now, and Alan Fox.
Yeah, and he's thinking to himself, saving may not work for him. He may have to be all go at all times to kind of build a gap enough that he can pull off. When these guys come down pit road later on, he can come down pit and a lap later and maybe still cycle out as the leader.
Yeah, he might be able to get a couple seconds lead, just trying to maintain that gap for a little while. I'm not trying to push his car too much.
So we take a look back here. Jacob Jensen past Opplinger, and Ed Morris Jr. looking to get past Opplinger here now. Still a lap down. I'm not entirely sure what might have happened there to be a lap down.
I've been the waiver rounds or something. I'm not too sure of it as well.
Yeah, because we went from just a few laps down, or a lap down, to now up to the top 10 and the 10th place driver being a lap down. So not entirely sure what we missed over that commercial break.
He is right on the Justin's bumper at the moment.
Yeah, and Vidal now looking to the inside of Ed Morris Jr.
Yeah, this is a race for the 10th position right now, so this is for position.
And it's also for the lucky dog spot.
So they're going at it pretty hard and heavy right now.
Not giving any room there as well.
Getting close to that wall.
So close to that wall.
Morris makes the pass.
And like I said, that's where I think Opplinger is kind of minding his P's and Q's. Kind of letting time just run down to where he hits, that magic number for him that he flips that switch to all go.
Yeah, kind of like a Kevin Harvick, the closer. When it's go time, he's there. So you might have seen them boys up there racing hard, and just I'll let them use up their stuff, just pace myself, and then we'll get them towards the end.
Yeah, and I mean that's the name of the game too, is patience. Patience is a very big key, and we kind of ruin our own patience if we run officials, because we run those 30-40 lap races, and then I mean even some of the A stuff feels a little bit shorter than some of our league races may.
Oh yeah, they're more like heat races, and you have to go quick, and then you get in league races where it's full races, and you just overwork your stuff. So
you're like, oh, I won this in official, I should be good here, and then you finish 15th, and you're like, what in the heck just happened?
Yeah, exactly. And what did I do? I won.
I won this in official.
Completely different league racing.
And I think that's what I love about league racing, especially if you get into a league like the XMS Elite Xfinity Series, or the XMS Rick Motec Cup Series. One, you have a world class of people, and it's a really big community, and seeing how active they are just throughout the entire week. joking around, talking racing, the normal everyday normal conversations. And then once you hit the track, I mean, it's competitive, but it's still very respectful. And you build that relationship with guys that you run with constantly, and it's like you build a circle, and it's a lot of fun.
It's like a family once you get to know each other and race with them. You know how each other race, and like I said, kidding around and playing. You know what they can do or not, but
Right.
ultimately they're your big family, and I'm sure they help each other when they ask for help. So
Yeah, and that's like there's a league I haven't been in, racing in for 2 or 3 seasons, and I'm still in there each and every week talking, pro wrestling, talking football, baseball. You end up joining a league, and if it's a good league, you end up there forever. So.
oh yeah, that's how I am with Racers Elite. So
And that's what's awesome about every league we cover.
I mean, like I said, it's just a tight family that you just enjoy calling races for. Good, clean races. I mean, you can't ask for nothing better.
Now, as we pop back up here to our man in the lead right now, the battle of the Allens, Alan Fox and Alan Dobbs, and he's not really letting him, Fox get away, and they're kind of putting some separation between them and Jacob Jensen, about a second to a second and a quarter, of a gap from him.
Yeah, because Alan Dobbs is just a couple hundredths of a second quicker than our leader, Alan Fox, at the moment. So he's just keeping him in the crosshairs at the moment.
Yeah, and it's going to be one of those things where he just needs to keep him in that striking distance.
Yeah, because, one the hiccup, your car could get loose and you slide up towards the wall, rub it, and then Dobbs can pass it. So you've got to stay on top of the wheel the whole entire race here in this league. You cannot afford to make a mistake.
No, not even in the slightest.
Tell you what, Ed Morris Jr. right now is the fastest car on the track at the moment.
Yeah, he's flat out saying, "I'm going to get my lap back the hard way."
I don't know what happened, but he is coming up through there.
Jason Cardwell comes down pit road now to get some service as well. And Nicholas Weatherby also in right now. So we're seeing some guys, make some already early decisions here.
It looks like for trying to get them fresh rubber to put in quicker lap times and jump over some people. So
yeah, and I mean, don't look now, Jensen being the only oddball out right now, but our playoff 4 are in the top 5 together.
I mean, I think this is pretty much where it's going to be the next couple of races. They're just going to be in the top 5 and hope nobody comes crash the party. But you got to pull for the underdog who crashes the party though in these situations sometimes.
Oh, 100%. So you got Senesac. He's currently sitting in 5th, and then followed by Opplinger sitting in 4th.
Yep.
Alan Dobbs running in 2nd for the moment as Ed Morris is all over the back of Alan Fox.
He's got a fast hot rod right now, Ed Morris does.
Oh, 100%. And he's got that thing cranked up to 11 pretty much with how he's moving through these guys.
Oh, yeah. I don't think any other cars came through the field tonight like he has this last run. But Jacob Jensen's coming up there now. Getting ever so closer to the top 2 front runners.
Yeah, and for him, not racing for a championship, but I mean, it would be nice to be able to say that you beat all 4 of the championship drivers.
Oh yeah, he'd be. Oh Alan Dobbs
Oh.
puts the bumper to him right there coming off 3.
Yeah, that was a little close
you-
there.
It looked like he might return the favor just a little bit. Thinks better of it.
Yeah, he sees it. You know, I'm in the way. I'm holding him up. You know, I might as well just drop back and let him go.
I'm in the lucky dog position, so I'm good.
Right. So I mean, anything that happens, he can find a way to. He'll find his way back to the lead lap. He might need a little bit of help, or once these guys settle it out and get kind of single file and not really battling each other, might find his way to get around them as well. So Taylor Bertram finding his way down the pit lane now.
Oh, we had a battle for lead for a second. Just could not make the pass coming off of 4. Regroup and try it again. Alan Fox is such a good running the higher line off of 4. He just cannot make the pass. Dobbs just cannot complete the pass on him.
No, and these guys right now, as they sit, they're sitting around 2 seconds ahead of Opplinger, who's just now coming down the backstretch. As you look, you can see right there Jacob Jensen, Ed Morris Jr., and Fox and Dobbs right up there in that
right up in front of him. Sorry, Jordan.
No, you're all good. I saw it, and then I'm sitting here looking at the buttons like, come on.
Lit right up in front of him. So Alan Dobbs back to the point here at Iowa tonight.
Yeah, and I feel like that's going to be the name of the game tonight is who can nail this strategy tonight. It's not going to be simple. I mean, it's never simple trying to figure out the winning strategy, because it's not a winning strategy until the end of the race. But what's going to be that one that sets you up for the better finish?
Yeah, it seems like Alan Dobbs has the better long run car of the field right now. So if this goes green the rest of the way, he should have a good shot of winning the race. But if we have a short run, that maybe make Alan Fox a favorite, Jacob Jensen or Justin back into it. Just have to see how it plays out.
Yeah, and regardless, I mean, by the end of this thing, we're gonna have a battle. And if it's anything like Opplinger and Dobbs were putting on before the end of the stage, we're in for something.
I mean, Opplinger was the quickest car that last lap.
And that's where I think he was minding his P's and Q's, working up his saving his stuff. These guys have been battling it out since the drop of the green flag, basically flipping and switching positions on the track. As Alan Fox dives down in the pit road, but I don't know if that was necessarily on purpose there.
I don't either.
That
was
looked
kind of abrupt.
See if we can pop back and see if we can take a look at that there. No, it looked like it was planned, but just carrying a little bit of too much speed.
Hopefully he didn't get snagged for a speeding penalty.
And as I say that, Opplinger's making his stop
And he
now.
came off that track quick.
Yeah.
Woo.
I thought maybe he got loose by what it looked like when we switched to him.
It looked like it, but then again, it could have been he got loose and had to think on the fly. But
the only thing I'm
either
looking
way,
at is I'm hoping he didn't get an unsafe exit, just because you have that commitment line that, you know, has the yellow cones, and I'm not sure where they begin, but I know that he was, you know, past the quote-unquote commitment box that NASCAR uses, but let's see if I can see it this time around. Yeah, so it doesn't look like the cones.
Whew.
I don't think the cones were there. See if I can see him right here. That's exit. Yeah, so the cone doesn't start until the barrel, so he is actually good.
It's close, but he got it back in there, so.
So because my original thought was, you know, if the cone is there by the by where that commitment cone is, that would be in real life, that would have been a penalty because he crossed over
there,
that,
but it's
that line.
behind the barrel though, so.
Yeah,
he couldn't have got much closer to that though.
Not at all. So currently out on the track, you have Alan Dobbs, Jacob Jensen, and Bryce Senesac still without making a stop. I believe Ed Morris Jr. as well. I did not see him come back down yet. No, he hasn't been down since 73.
Yep.
Vidal has not been down since 72, and same as Joe Darnell.
So the top 6 is not pitted since we went back racing.
Yeah, so, you know, now we see Alan Fox. He's already made a move past Joe Darnell. Daniel Krim coming down, making his stop. He was also another guy that was a playoff hopeful, you know, running a pretty decent season and falling just short, just missing out on the playoffs.
And that's heartbreaking sometimes, just missing out on the playoffs. But you know, as long as you
or the round, he missed the round of 4. My apologies. He was in the round of 8. So a little bit,
you know, it's just heartbreaking sometimes just to missing it. Doesn't matter what round it is, you know.
Exactly.
Fox up to 6th.
Oh, and look at that mess of cars there in front of him.
Oh wow.
That is a storm that I don't want to be in. Look at that.
Gaggle of cars.
Oh, Vidal in the wall. And you know, for him, like we were talking about, people who are not into the championship 4, just kind of being there, and you know, you got to work your way around them, and you know, you see Vidal in that wall there, and that's not settling. And as we speak,
no, I'm sure Alan saw that. It's like, uh-oh.
Yeah, and as we speak, Senesac now making his pit stop, so it's going to take all of. He's going to be the next car a lap down in 3rd, depending on what Dobbs does here. So Dobbs still running, Jensen still running, about 2, almost 3 seconds behind there.
Yeah, so the top 2 are still hanging out.
Senesac makes his stop as we speak. Going to drop in the standings for the moment.
As Alan Dobbs turns left and heads into the pits this lap.
Yeah, so the leader making the stop, which is going to allow these guys to... Oh, my goodness. Once again, we find Joshua Vidal put a little bit of a scary situation there.
His car is not handling too good. Well, he hasn't pitted yet either.
Yeah, look at that. Oh.
He last pitted on 72, so...
Yeah, that's...
He's just... Hold on to her, bud, so I can tell you.
Yeah, exactly. And that's one of those things for me is... as a racer, if that happens to me and I get in front of somebody like that, I'm just going to go ahead and go, you can, I'm going to go down pit. I'm going to let you by.
Yeah, I'm getting out of the way, that's for sure.
It's one of those, excuse me.
Excuse me, sir.
Don't run from the Lord. I hate how those TikToks just get stuck in your head.
Yeah, they're bad for you, but they're addictive. They're drugs.
It's that serotonin for the brain.
Yeah,
or whatever it's supposed to. I believe it's serotonin. Again, don't
Right.
don't believe me. I'm not good at math, so I don't think I'd be very good at science either.
No, that's not where. No. Ah.
So it looks
out
like
there.
yep, Jacob Jensen's the one of 2 cars that are on the lead lap that have not pitted yet. So right now, the lead would be handed back over to Alan Fox, who currently would have just over a 3-second lead over Justin Opplinger.
Yeah, that's phew. Probably one of the biggest leads we've had of the night.
Oh, by far. As you see now, he's looking to get by Ed Morris right now. But yeah, I mean that lead is shrinking. Just now hitting under 2 seconds or 3 seconds. My apologies. It did not drop a second and a half in a single lap. But
Makes you wonder how long Jacob's gonna stay out.
Yeah, and I mean you can see now as Opplinger comes out of 2, you can see right up there Fox on the lower line going out of 4 now. So I mean it's not he's not that far, and I mean he's already ran down
coming in the pits as we speak.
Jacob Jensen comes down. You know, Justin has brought it down to a 2.3 second lead. 2.2. It is falling.
Wow.
We'll check in now. Yeah, look how much closer he is already to just that back group of cars.
So Alan Fox back to the point. I mean, just look what happened to Alan Dobbs for how long he stayed out. He's now 6 seconds behind the leader, running in the 4th position. We'll just have to see if this pays off towards the end of the race for him.
Yeah, and even for Fox right now, that gap could be shrinking as quickly as it is because, you know, he's just maybe just minding the gap, and, you know, once he sees it hit a certain point, turns it back on and saves his, you know, stuff.
Yeah, nobody around you. You just need to pace yourself. Save your car. So who knows what'll happen at the end of the race? But he's got almost a 2-second lead, so a 1.8 second lead right now.
Yeah, and we know that Morris, you know, he will have to still make a stop here shortly. I mean, he's been out 63 laps.
Yeah, him and Joshua Vidal is the only 2 cars who have not pitted this round of pit stops.
Yeah, so, I mean, going off of what Morris has done, 60 laps, I mean, that's going to be well enough to get these guys to the end of this race.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, we're looking at just under 40 now, so these guys are good to go to the end. So what you got on the car now is what you're going to be racing with, and, you know, as we speak, Opplinger down to just over 2.5 second lead. Looks like Morris might be making his stop, or, you know, possibly just letting Opplinger by there.
Jacob Jensen just ran the fastest lap of the race at a 23.97.
Just as I went to click on him, it moved out of my way. But Joshua Vidal finding his way down pit lane as well.
Finally bringing that car. He did a good job of holding on to it.
Yeah, that thing must be.
That car was.
Yeah, that thing has to be screaming right about now. You see the gap now. You can see Fox just in the view up there.
Just maybe a 10th quicker lap than Alan Fox at the moment.
And now that he's past Grimm, that lead drops down to 2.3, just 2.4. So, I mean, he's been making work. I mean, he's down a half a second already from that 3-second mark before Jensen pitted.
Oh yeah, he's got to get along. He's got the long run speed in that car. So Alan Dobbs might be back up there fighting for the lead with here in about 15 laps or so.
I mean, basically what Dobbs is doing right now is he sees Opplinger right there in front of him, literally following in his tracks. And they're both just kind of hoping that what they have in the car right now, they can get to Fox without completely shredding it up. And then essentially having a three-car race with Senesac about 6 seconds behind them.
Yeah, no, Alan Dobbs has got 10 lap fresher tires than the 2 cars in front of him, so.
Yeah, so he's basically just biding his time, and he's looking to the inside now of Justin Opplinger.
So we head into one. He's going. Justin's not going to let him have it this time as easy as he has earlier, so he's going to have to work for it. That lap car of Edward Morris up there in front of him.
Oh, gets a little drift up, almost put them both into the wall there.
I think Justin finally realized, you know, you've got the better car, so I'll just follow you up front.
Oh! Ed Morris Sr. ends up turning Alan Dobbs off of his nose, and I don't necessarily think it was Ed Morris Jr. or Sr.'s fault there. Just the way it rolled out, but
yeah,
massive there.
Oh, man. Wow.
Let's see what happened here. Coming out of turn 2, Dobbs gets a run out, and I guess maybe he just didn't think that Senior would still be there like that.
No, because he wasn't clear and just came up the track a little bit. You hate to see that.
I mean, he dips below that line, doesn't track all the way out.
No.
And I mean, you can't just expect him to do it, but, you know, racing sense, you know, usually that's where they would go, and it's a tough one there. I mean, that was,
yeah.
It's one of those things where it's like, it's hard to call.
It's just, you know, it's a racing incident, you know?
He's above the dotted line, and then he kind of drifts low, but Dobbs just washing up the track like he's going to track out, and Morris Sr.'s still there.
Yep. Just was not clear.
So every one of these guys is going to come down now and get fresh tires, and I mean, that changes everything. I mean,
oh yeah.
You know, Dobbs going to stay in to get his service done and hopefully get that right front, you know, fixed up to a point where it's not, you know, holding him back. But let's see if we can take a picture, get to it. I do not have that camera. Well, I was trying to get a shot of it, but cameras do not seem to be. But yeah, that's going to change everything, because, you know, Alan Dobbs is going to go a lap down here. Maybe. So he did. I mean, that was almost Lightning McQueen getting off pit road there.
Damage on that right front.
I mean, all that he could be hoping for is that it's not as, you know, it doesn't harm. One, no motor damage, because, you know, those front end hits, you know, with the algorithm and everything that we have on iRacing, can easily take away that horsepower. And then two, that wheel's still straight.
Yeah,
and 3,
knock the toe out of it.
Yeah, and then 3, the aero. And I mean, it is a shorter track, so I don't think aero is huge, but it's still going to affect him in some sort.
Yeah, I don't think so. What a shame, though. I mean, he probably had the best long run car out there tonight, but.
Yeah, and like we were talking, you know, that's why those stage points were so important.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and it does look like that right front is kind of pointed towards the wall just a touch.
think just a racing deal, bud. You know.
Yeah, and I mean, there's not much that, you know, it's one of those things. It's, you know, he was still there, you know, and he tracked out like he could go to the wall and got hooked off the nose, and it's just one of those things, you know, you can't expect what others are going to do, and you know that's ultimately what comes of it 99.9% of the time.
Yep. You are correct.
So we're going to have a 25 lap shootout
Yep.
for the first race of the round of 4. So and you know, as we sit right now, 3 of the 4 are in the top 4. And then Alan Dobbs with a little bit of damage. I feel like saying I feel like saying a little bit of damage is not correct, but you know, with some damage, sitting there in 6th right now.
So we'll just see how this plays out these last 25 laps of racing.
So lights out on the pace car. It's going to make that hard left turn. And then we're going to hand it over to Justin Opplinger to send these boys off. Creeps into the box and gets a massive jump.
Oh, what a jump. Jacob Jensen on the outside of Alan Fox right now.
Yeah, and you know, that's going to be something great for Opplinger to sit there and watch in his mirrors. If Jacob Jensen can kind of put his nose, I almost said put his nose in between them, and literally almost put his nose in between the wall and Alan Fox there.
Oh, he's... Looks like he pushed up the track, and Alan just brushes the wall just ever so slightly.
And, you know, for Opplinger, I mean, these two battling, that's just got to be well, I guess I can't say music to his ears, but, you know, oh, Jacob with a little bit of a wiggle. But he's got to be loving seeing that in his rear view.
Oh, he's smiling from ear to ear under that helmet. You know he is. That's Senesac's looking to join this little party right here, as he now looks inside of Jacob Jensen in the turn 1.
Take a peek back here at Alan Dobbs. Oh! As I say that, he's sideways off of the corner. See if we can find a culprit here.
Don't know what happened on there.
I want to say it's Taylor Bertram, but let's take a peek here. Not really sure. Let's go to the roof cam on that one. So it definitely looks like Dobbs is having a little bit of a power, but I feel like
He came down a little bit, but
yeah, I mean, I feel like it looks like he does come down just a touch. Just back it up here real quick. That might be a little bit. It's crazy you can't even see Bertram yet. And just, I mean, that could have been a lot worse for Dobbs there, just to add to his pain, but.
ever so slightly touch each other.
Yeah, it just looks
Taylor
like
got the worst end of that deal.
Yeah, it looks like just Dobbs arced his corner and
Just was not clear.
ran Chandler giving me a little stuff for the music to his eyes.
Oh, is he?
He said, "How does that?" He says, "How does that work?" I have no idea, but he likes what he sees. I feel like I'm not going to be able to live that down. It's music to his eyes.
We all have them moments.
I'll tell you now, Scott. If I have an interview with you, and I'm gonna say, that had to be music to your eyes.
That could be your new catchphrase. Just roll with it.
Oh man, I don't know if I'd have a job for much longer if I start saying it's music to his eyes.
I hear Jonathan and Alan now. What is he talking about?
Is he okay? Does he drink during his day?
Medicated?
Is he drinking on his job? Oh man. So I mean, it's only been 5 laps since that last caution. We're gonna go green with around 18 to go, and I know it's only 5 to 7 laps since the last start, but I mean that just makes things even more intense because these guys are gonna have less time to try to build a gap and maintain a gap and work. So for these guys, they're gonna just have to hope that someone can get up side by side and keep them in the loop. With Opplinger and Fox, maybe Jensen gets up there and messes with them to help draw Senesac up, or allow Opplinger to get a ride, get a lead off of these guys.
And you got fresh tires back here from 6th position on back, so are them fresh tires going to be an advantage here when we come like 19 to go?
Right. And Scott said, if I ain't giving you crap, I don't like you. He said, he says, I have no filter at work. They pay me to filter myself on calls.
I like it.
Hey, dude, I love it. Hey, as a former service advisor, let me tell you, it's one of those things. I wish
good.
that I could turn that filter off at work and just tell somebody.
Yeah. You just can't do it. You got bills to pay.
Absolutely. So we're gonna go green, like I said, with 18 laps to go, and 18 laps, it's not a ton of time. You're looking at 24 seconds a lap. It's, when you break it down into time, that's gonna be like 9 minutes of racing, and that's like a blink.
Yeah, we're gonna blink and it's gonna be over as we come to the green flag.
Yes, Opplinger rolls into the zone, gets another good jump.
Gosh.
Not as far out as he was before, but definitely still a good jump. Fox going to look to maybe throw it in a little bit deeper, try to hang on, but to no avail. Opplinger is off to the races.
Yeah, you've got almost a two car length lead coming off of 2 as we head down the backstretch here.
Yeah, and Senesac kind of stuck behind Jensen out there, and he's probably screaming, let me by.
Yeah, but he can't, at the end of the race, he can't pull over and let him by, so he's going to have to make him earn it.
Right, and like Jensen, he doesn't want to let these guys go. He wants to prove that, I want to be in that 4. I could have been in that championship 4.
Yeah, right now he's trying to make the high side work as Alan Fox is getting closer and closer.
Barely any room to breathe between the two, and they're getting close to elbows out time.
Oh yeah, Jacob Jensen's now joining this party as well, so as he is on the back bumper of Alan Fox. As Alan Fox moves up the high side, see if his car can get a good run coming off a 4.
Yeah, and for Fox, I think if he's going to pull this off, he's got to get by him, and then he's got to switch to, Super Bowl 50 Denver Broncos type defense.
Oh yeah, he's got to go. We're at 15 to go. It's time
Oh, look into the inside there. Woo.
That was close.
That's
much room between those 2 cars.
no room is going to be the best room that you can get. Really drives it in deep there. Going to come off side by side. Tucks back into line.
all three of the top three are now migrated up to the high side of coming off a 4.
Yeah, and for Fox, you know, he's got to almost be where Opplinger isn't, but, you know, in a spot that still allows him to either maintain a gap. Oh, he slides in front of Jensen there. Whew, that was almost another turn off the nose there.
And Incentive Sack looks on the inside of Jensen coming off a 4.
And you know what? I'm going to say it. All this behind Opplinger has got to be music to his eyes.
Oh, yeah. He's like, you all keep racing each other. I'll just get a little bit further away from y'all.
And don't look now, Ed Morris Jr. has found his way into this. And he says, we're going to play around.
Closing up on Jacob Jensen.
So these guys, they're not just, you know, we don't just have the championship guys that are, you know, out here trying to prove something. We also have everybody else in the field trying to find a way to... Oh, Jensen slides off that corner.
Gets loose coming off a 2. But look at Ed Morris coming up through here. Wow. He's got them four fresher tires, I should say. So
yeah, I mean he came down at 154, so he's got 10 lap better tires than these guys, and that might just play into his hand. As we got 10 to go here.
Oh, he might be being a spoiler tonight.
Yeah, he's definitely looking for it.
Drives it deep into turn 3.
And, you know, at least for Opplinger, you know, the win doesn't mean a championship. So, I mean, at least he doesn't have a ton to lose. But, I mean, the win is always the better situation. But Morris fighting down to the bottom there, going to try to drive off hard and going to be side by side just a little bit there.
Where did he come from? Wow.
Oh, and he's just going to fall back in the line now.
So close to that wall coming down the front stretch right there.
Yeah, Morris a little bit higher that time, driving down to the bottom. Drives up, not quite has the ability to tuck behind, but drives it in deep.
Oh, he's going to be able to clear him. No, Justin.
Opplinger fights back on the outside.
Man, what a race to the finish.
Now they're switching. Opplinger on the low line. Morris just a half a lane up from there. Going to get a drive off. Going to cross over. It almost looks like he got loose and it kind of forced him down there.
Morris's car works so much better on the high side. I think Justin knows that. That's why he's put his car up into the high side.
Oh, 100%. You know, he sees that's where he's got the speed, so he's going to take it away from him. This might be a good one to see here. I think Morris takes the high side there when Opplinger goes low. He can have a really good run down the backstretch.
Right on his bumper in the 3, exit 4 right here.
He's going to have to try to fight it off the corner, right on the tail end of him.
He's going to push him into turn 1.
Opplinger stays high. Morris goes low. Dives back down in. Oh, side by side. A drag race just... Oh...
Man. Oh, Morris to the high side coming off at 2. I don't know if he's on. Justin clears him. Wow.
Morris looking just a bit lower, half a lane below, trying to get a good drive off, trying to find his way around Opplinger. Really wants to play spoiler and be the winner of the first race around a 4, just to say, you know, make a statement.
Oh, absolutely. It'd be a statement win. Drives it in deep into turn 3.
Grabbing the apron even on that one.
can't get the run off.
No, and Opplinger playing a masterful defense. We take the white flag here. Opplinger goes low. Morris stays a half a lane up. Not as close. Oh, Morris grabs the wall. And I think that's going to be all she wrote as Justin Opplinger goes into turn 3. Comes out of turn 4. Justin Opplinger is going to win the first race of the round of 4 here in Iowa.
Wow, what a great race there at the end. Morris.
Bryce
Everything
Senesac,
he could have his car.
literally everything he could possibly. And, you know, Bryce Senesac comes 3rd. Alan Fox drops all the way down to 6th. And Alan Dobbs limps his way back home to 10th.
Just, yeah. Alan wish things could have been a little bit different, but top 10's not too bad as well.
Justin Opplinger going to bring it back around. He's going to burn it down as he's got the first win of these 2 races. And, you know, that's a ton of, you know, momentum to take into the final race.
That's what you want.
And, you know, this all got even more interesting because, you know, our leader of the points finished well behind the other 3 competitors. So going into that final race, it's going to be close.
Oh, yeah. You got to wonder if it's going to be, you know, you just got to win the race if you're Alan Dobbs, you know?
Yeah, so we're going to bring up our 3rd place driver of Bryce Senesac. Bryce, you got a copy?
Yeah.
So you guys put on one heck of a show tonight. I mean, some crazy driving and just some crazy moves. And, you know, you come away 3rd. You know, it's a good points day for you. And, you know, how are you feeling about everything right now?
Kind of wishing I took tires there at the end. Seeing how big of a difference, I think it's a 10-lap difference. I was a bit worried on what that would do, but yeah, didn't really have anything for the 51 there at the end. Or I think he was on 2 tires, and now Ed was able to get up there, and I think if he didn't have any traffic to deal with, he maybe could have gotten to 51 there. But I mean, 2nd of the playoff guys left. I mean, I'll take it. I'm still in the fight, so.
Yeah, and looking here, you know, Opplinger, you know, takes the win, and you come 2nd of the playoff drivers, and then, you know, the other 2, you know, drop 2 spots behind, and then, you know, Dobbs having the misfortune that he did, he falls all the way to 10th. So going into the final race at Nashville, I mean, you guys are going to be pretty much nose to tail points wise, and, you know, pretty much wipe out most of the playoff points, you know, that you guys carried into this. So, you know, how do you prepare yourself to you know, mentally go into the last race, you know, motivated and, you know, a little, you know, it's got to be a little bit different than tonight where, you know you have that 2nd race in the round, you know, now is the final race. So how do you kind of mentally prepare for that?
I think you just gotta go into next week just like any other race all season. You know, just, you know, you want the best finish as possible, and you're gonna go out there and run as fast and make the best strategy calls you can, and, you know, just finish as high up as you can, and that's pretty much all you can do.
Absolutely. And, you know, before we get you out of here, is there anybody that you want to shout out?
Shout out to you guys for on the broadcast and all that stuff. Shout out to Ed and Gary for all they do with bringing the league together and adminning, and shout out to everyone at SRM Racing. Shout out to Spoiler Diecast. Congrats on Justin for the win. So, yeah.
All right, brother. Well, we wish you luck for next week.
All right, thank you.
Good luck, bud.
Yep, we'll go and see what we can do.
All right. And now we're going to go ahead and bring up our 2nd place finisher of Ed Morris Jr. Ed Morris, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
I think Troy's got you.
Man, Ed, you sure made it interesting in last couple of laps. What was going through your mind when you decided to come to pit road and get them 4 fresh tires?
I don't know. I was debating it, and I didn't come the first time by, and I probably should have because I ended up deciding to come anyways. And I was kind of looking at how many cars were on the lead lap, and I was like, well, I'm not going to hardly drop but a few spots, so I might as well come get fresh tires and see if I could work through these cars, and what else could I do? So.
No, we certainly could tell you put it out on the line when you came to a wall coming off a 2 there, but it just looked like your car ran so much better on the high side there towards the end. You just couldn't make the pass on the bottom. But what else could you have done to try to make the pass on Justin for a win?
I don't know. I mean, I could have went up there and squeezed him, especially in 3 and 4, and just basically put him in that outside that third lane and up toward the wall there, and just squeeze him up a lane a little bit and try to keep the momentum off the corner the best I could. Get on his door. Don't let him come down the track at all. He was the top. I mean, it's hard to get by on the bottom, and he was holding the top really good and getting good runs, and it was just hard to build anything on him. And I do the best I can to race people clean, and Justin's always raced me clean too. And I'm not a playoff driver this season, and he is, and I wasn't gonna try to do something completely stupid to try to get the win, and end up taking out a playoff driver. I'd hate that for him. So I was trying to get the job done to get the win without wrecking us both. So.
Well, you certainly made it interesting coming through there. I'm sure you would have loved to have been the spoiler tonight. Is there anybody you want to thank tonight before we let you go, bud?
Yeah, just appreciate you guys for doing the broadcasts, and everybody at Extreme Motorsports, admins, all the staff, for all the hard work they do and putting this thing on. Rick Motek for Elite Entertainment for the sponsor, and Rick Motek. And then all the drivers, everybody here that's still racing and committed to the league. I appreciate you guys being here and all the fans watching.
Yeah, man. Well, congrats on your second place finish, bud. And you just have to maybe go out to Nashville next week and be a spoiler again.
Thanks, man.
All right, bud. Have a good week and go get them next week.
You too.
All right, and last but not least, we're going to bring up our race winner of Justin Opplinger here. Mr. Opplinger, it's Jordan and Troy up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. How you doing?
I'm doing great, and I'm sure you're doing even better here with that run that you just had.
Yeah, just a little bit. Not the best performance by me. I didn't think we had the fastest car out here, so it was all right though. Good to get out of bring home a win.
Well, certainly for you, you don't ever have to actually be the fast guy. I mean, you have such a racer's mind to the point where you have a good strategy. You know the calls to make, when to make them, and you know when to save and when to push. And we saw you there that one right after the stage break, kind of dropped back just a touch, not really pushing as hard. And was that, I mean, by design or?
Not at first. I saw them drive away from me at first, and I felt like I wasn't saving too much. Like felt like I was still pushing it, and they continued to keep driving away. So then I was like, it was real tempting to keep going after it harder and harder. I was like, you just gotta block it out and just run your own race. You can come back later on in the run, 30 laps later, a little bit faster. But yeah, I don't know what it was. That whole race was weird. Pretty much everyone else looked like they could get their car rotated a lot better than me in the center. And I was struggling with a lot of a tight handling car there, so I'm not too sure how we pulled it out, but yeah.
Yeah, and so I mean, trying to do mental math, and as Scott Ramler will tell you, later, my mental math is not as good, and he'll make fun of me because he said he's from Kentucky, and if I'm not good at math, we're all screwed. But doing some quick mental math, you guys should be rather right on nose to tail with each other. Across the 4 of you going into next week, and how do you kind of block that out and focus on the race instead of focusing mainly on those points and everything like that, and just kind of trying to put your focus forward of winning the championship?
Yeah, it's definitely a hard thing to do. At the beginning of the race, I caught up myself racing Dobbs a little too hard probably, and just thinking about points, trying to get stage win and leading laps and stuff like that. But it's definitely difficult to block it out. It's always in the back of your mind though, no matter what time it is during the race, really, anytime you're running. Um, but like I said, it's just you gotta focus on your own run and pretty much just do the best you can. Really, just get the get the best out of the car. You can't do much more than the car can do, and what you can do if you're performing your best. If the car's not handling well, then as long as you get the most out of it, then that's all you can do. So I just really try and focus on my own race, save tires, and be there at the end.
Well, all year long you show a master class, in my opinion, of strategy and last split second calls and just finding a way to get to the front. And it's truly been a joy to watch you race and as well as the competitors with you in the playoffs. And I'm sure Ramler at some point will also make fun of me for this as well, because I said it during the broadcast. Those guys behind you were starting to fight a little bit, and I was like trying to think of what to say, and I started to say it's got to be music to your ears. But then I thought about it. I was like, well, I mean, it's not really music to his ears, and then I said music to his eyes, and
Yeah.
I think it kind of bred a funny little catchphrase that I think's gonna stick for a little bit for sure. But
All right.
we want to wish you luck for next week. And before we send you on your way, is there anybody you want to shout out to?
Yeah, first off, Lord above, mom, dad for the sim, you guys for putting on the broadcast, everyone at SRM and Extreme. Yeah, anyone that helps out with the league, Gary, Ed Morris. Yeah, thank you guys.
Well, we thank you, and we'll see you next week.
All right, thank you. You too.
So all around, wonderful race, and I mean these guys put on just a hell of a race, and I'm looking forward to this race next week, and seeing these guys battle it out with the championship officially fully on the line, winner take all in that race. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be fun to watch, and I think it might get a little heated. Not in an angry way, but I'm sure these guys are going to put those elbows out rather early and really kind of shove each other around.
Oh, they might start with the elbows out. Start that race at Nashville next week. The elbows out, man. I'm gonna have to. Hopefully, my race gets done quick and come join you for this exciting championship race. So, like you said, they're going to have to. If it looks like you want to win the race to win the championship. So.
Without a doubt. Well, before we head on out, we're gonna go over these quick race results here. Justin Opplinger comes away your winner. Ed Morris coming second, and Bryce Senesac rounding out that podium. Jacob Jensen finds himself with a top 5 and 4th. Joe Darnell finds himself with a top 5 with a wonderful finish tonight. Alan Fox dropped all the way down to 6th. Going to have a little bit of work to do starting next week. AJ Brandenburg comes 7th. Jason Cardwell comes 8th. Taylor Bertram, even with the slide, comes 9th. Alan Dobbs having a little bit of late race issues with the turn off the nose and a later caution with that, finds him 10th, 1 lap down. Mike Campeggio, Joshua Vidal, 11th and 12th. Daniel Krim, Todd Keir, Edward Morris Sr., Michael Self, and rounding out the field in 17th, Nicholas Weatherby. So, want to thank everybody for hanging around, listening to the interviews. We love everybody that wants to stay around and be involved with the broadcast. Gonna wrap up now. Not much else to say, but looking forward to that championship race. And, as you walk through the streets of life, remember, don't play in traffic.